Okay, here we go. Let's get to modeling this head out so we can get it done and start painting it. Yes! Okay, so I'm going to just do a really simple model here. And we're in front view. And the first thing that I want to do is I want to go ahead and make a selection and make a seam. Before we even start modeling, make a seam. And I just turned, see, we're in the front view. Okay, so if we click the X up here, and we're going to be in the right orthographic view. So to select this, double click, whoops. So what we want to do is we want to get on the edge, in edge mode. We're in faces mode. And we want to get to the one in the middle and go to the edge mode. Right here like this. So I'll deselect that by clicking off to the side, and then I'll hold my cursor here and I'll just double click. And that selected a loop. Yay, woohoo, just like that, a loop. So we want to go up to the UV now where it says UV, and we want to say mark seam. Yay, woohoo. There's a red seam there. Okay, let's get back in the front view. And now we have just that one simple selection and in the front view. And now I'm just gonna turn the symmetry. It looks like my symmetry is off. And I'm gonna click that back on, the X right up there. And then I'm gonna get back on the faces mode. And you can click the number 3 on the keyboard. And see, is my proportional editing is off as well. So click on the proportional editing if it's off. And what am I on? 2. Yeah, that's 2. I think now I want to tell you something too. If you like me and you're in here and you're just clicking on everything like crazy and playing around with it, you can click on stuff, right click and hit reset to default value. And then you're back to where you were. So there, it starts out as 1 milliliter, whatever, millimeter, whatever it is. And then and then you can play with it. So you turn it up. You can click on that and scroll and it will roll. Of course, it's really high for this. So we're just going to go to 2 for now. And then you'll see now that I'm on 2, it'll really stretch and affect the polygons around it. But that's cool. So I'm just going to pull it out like that a little bit. And then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to select this guy. And I'm going to pull it up, straight up in the Z. Whoa! Oh! Ah. My heart, it's beating for you. Okay, edit and undo. I'm going to turn the proportional editing back down to 1. There we go. And let's try that again. Even that's too high. So let's turn the proportional editing off. See how that works. And I think that's what I want to do. And okay, now it's off. Wow, that's interesting. Okay, so maybe I made my cuts first. Oh, let's try this. I'm doing this similar to the last guy. Let's pick that. Let's select that and pull up. There we go. I was kind of giving him, this little guy, some ears. And that's exactly what I wanted. And that's cool enough. And then I think I want to add a couple of loop cuts. So front view. And to make a loop cut, it's really easy. You just go faces. Let's see, or UV. Let's see. Oh no, we gotta be in. Are we in edit? Yes, we are. So edge. There we go. We want to go in edit mode. We're in edit mode, and we want to go to the edge, and we want to go loop, cut, and slide. And it's really fun and easy to practice and doing because you can use the keyboard shortcut Control R. But let's just learn the menus a little bit and get familiar. So let's choose that. And what it's going to do is, it's kind of funny. So if I hit Control R, let's see, wrong key, Control R. Now, nothing may happen because if I don't move my cursor over this object, this head, then I won't see anything. And I might be like, oh. And it took me a little while to figure this out, but now I can move it this way. I just start moving it around and it loops in areas. So, but I want it to be here. So I'm going to hold the cursor over that, and when that yellow loop pops in there, I'm just going to click once. I'm going to click down and see that double black arrows. And you can also look over here in the UV and you can see it where the cut went through the faces. And now the two black arrows show me that I have another option. Now I can scroll my mouse and I can roll it to where I want it. I can move it. And so I can put it here, 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 and I'll just put it right there. Now it looks good. And then I'm going to click down, and you can see now the move tool's there because I am on the move tool. If I wasn't on the move tool and I was on the select box, I wouldn't see. And so now it's made the cut. And that was cool. And you can still move it, but notice it's there. You got a nice cut right there in your faces. So edit, undo, and now what you can do if you want to stay on that selection is choose the select tool. The scale tool, and you can scale it up and down and in and out or whatever you want to do with it. And the white will pull it larger all the way around. And undo that, and then whoops, what happened? Okay, let's do it again. Let's hit the Control, the Shift R. Let's see. You can just go. I can't see my keyboard. It's dark in here. So UV or edge, and then loop, cut, and slide. There we go. So I click down, and I'm just going to hit Enter, and it's fine. And it's a little bit further in than I wanted it, so I'm going to edit and do that. And then I'm going to hit Control R and click once. And then when I see the black arrows, then I'll move it. So I want to move it about right here. Now I can't remember how to get the symmetry with the edge cutter, if you can do that, but so I'm just going to make another cut in the other side. So I'll hit Control R, and there it is. And I'll click down once. Then I see the black arrow, and I'll move it this way a bit. And hit. That should do it. Click off to the side or hit Enter. And now I've got a nice cut there. Woohoo! So I'm in the loop selection edge mode. The loop cutting, the edges are just these guys. Move tool, the edge of the face. And this is the face. And that's the edges. And again, these are the vertex points. So it's 1, 2, 3. It's right next to edit mode right up here. It's the vertex, the edge, and you can hold your mouse over. And there's the keyboard shortcut, and it's 1, 2, 3, I think. So I'm going to edit and undo that smoothing. There we go. And then, yes, if I hold my cursor over it here and I hit 1, then I'll be right there. And I think I'm on the select box. And if you're on the select circle, then you can see the little circle there. And you can hit the circle and get on the move tool and move around. Yeah. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, so I made those 2 cuts, and now I want to just want to add some eyes, some little eye sockets, because we're going to paint the eyes, and we're just going to add a little mouth, and then we're going to start painting. So I'll get back on the faces, and I'll select the face, and what I'll do is I'll hit E on the keyboard, or I think it's okay, so the extrude is what we want to do, and it's edge, extrude edges. And you can just click that edge, extrude, and then it'll extrude the polygons. Let's see. Edit and do that, and I'm selecting the polygons, and I'm not sure if what's happening here. Why is it doing that? Okay. I don't know what my issue is here. Okay. So I've been having this issue. I'll just say I think I've kind of figured out a workaround, a little fix. So when you select, we made the cuts, I deleted them, and I'll show you how to do that too. Let's make another loop cut, and we can go Control R again, and there's the yellow loop there, and click down, and I'll move it over here a little ways, sliding it with the arrows, and then click down again, and that made the loop cut. And then I'll do Control R, and I'll start on this side, and I'll slide it over about there. And then I think what happens is somehow it throws off the symmetry. And then when sometimes it'll just stop working on both sides at all. That's the time it worked. But what I did was to fix it, to get it working again, was I came up here to where it says, where the options is, where we turn on the mirroring. And there's a little button under transform. It says correct faces. But what that does is you turn it on, and if you look over here in the UV editor window and zoom in, and I move it on the fly, it'll move the UVs automatically around. But it kind of kicked it in, and it started working again. And so I did edit and undo with that, and then I turned it back off. Because once you get a ton of your UV set up, your polygon faces and vertexes all set the way you want, so you can paint this thing on, makes a crazy mess. It's kind of funny. I haven't quite figured out how that benefits me in Blender. But okay, so set I've reset the symmetry, and there is another way to do symmetry, and I'll show you that after we finish this real quick. So if we go, we've got this set up now, and I'm going to finish before I jump to how to do the other symmetry. I'm just going to straighten that. I guess it doesn't matter. A little bit there. Whoopie do. Okay, so to dissolve UVs. So I'm going to come up here, or to dissolve the faces or the edges or polygon or the vertexes. You double click a loop. We'll just use this loop and right click, and and you scroll all the way to the bottom, and you can do dissolve edges or delete edges. And if I delete them, you'll see that happens, and you can see some of the edges are still there. So you can play with that, but you can just hit right click and hit dissolve edges, and then that works great. And you could do the same thing with the vertex and the polygons. And you can also do this with the polygons. I'll edit them here with that cut there. But you can get on here to the faces and select some. And this is cool when you're cleaning up. This is a really cool thing. I just learned how to do this. You can select a group or a section of faces and just hit F. The keyboard, I think it acts as an F. Is that F? Yeah, there we go. F. And it just dissolves all those lines, and you can start again, and then you can jump onto the knife tool, which is pretty easy to use down here, and you can just go. It kind of grabs the vertex point and then select and drag, click down, and it stays on. So if I want to get off of it now, I just hit enter on the keyboard. Bing, and then it makes the cut. And then I can make another cut, and it kind of snaps to that vertex. So you click and drag, and just pull your mouse. And then it goes wild, and it sticks to everything, so you have to hit enter or escape. And then it also does some other cool things which you can play around with. It'll do this. If you drag it over here across and you double click, it'll snap sometimes back. And then you hit enter. So that's really cool. I like using the F on the faces to clear things. It's cool. So, like I said, I've been working a lot in Cinema 4D. This is a lot of this stuff is really new for me, and I'm going over it by sharing with you and helping my head memorize all of these little tools. Okay, so that was that, and then I was just going to show you really quickly. There's another way to do it. It's kind of a different symmetry thing. So I haven't really completely figured out how to do that, how it works. So I liked this simple way in the start, the modeling, and just doing it with this X symmetry. So basically, there's a modifier tool. So you just select the entire object, A, and you come over here, you could add modifier, and it's a mirror, or it's, what is it called? Yeah, there's mirror there. So it kind of does this, I don't know exactly what it does, but it's crazy. So we'll just go back to that. Anyway, that gives you an idea of what, and also I think it was, I've watched a tutorial, another tutorial. You select your, let's see if everything's back kind of the way I had it, yeah. And I used it because I was hitting that bug, but you can select everything, A. It doesn't look like I got rid of the other symmetry. Oh, here it is. I'll just delete it. Click the X and that deleted that symmetry. Let's see if I'm still working. Yeah. And then, but you could hit select all, and then I think it was right click, and it was symmetrize. Yeah, that's what it was. Something like that. It's like faces, symmetrize. Where is it? Mesh. Or maybe it's right click, symmetrize. It's around here. I think I did a tutorial about it, but maybe it is right over here in this. Adding the modifier. There's a shortcut to symmetrize. And deform. And where is it? Oh, I think it's in mesh. Yeah. There it is. It is. It's mesh symmetrize. And then that puts a whole new deformer thing on it. And you can see what it did right there. It kind of adds a little bit of extra something, polygons too there. So you can play with that. And then I'm going to go back and get rid of that symmetrize and go back to what I was working with, just this symmetry up here. So I'm going to just do this really quick thing with the eyes. Oh, look. It kind of messed up my symmetry. All these different options. Okay, let's see. How are we doing now? Okay, that looks good. But there we go again. We're broken. So I don't know if you've run into these things or if you're going to, but let's try this. Deselecting the faces and see what happens. In options, correct face attribute, and see what happens here. Yeah, that looks good there, but what about this? Yeah, see there's an off bug. So I'm going to undo that. And I'm going to go to turn that back on. Turn this off. See what it does. Yeah, it does move this, the over here in the UVs. Interesting. Very cool. And what is it going to do if I turn that on? I'll undo that. Undo. And options, turn it off. Yeah. There's that bug again. So maybe if I jump back into object mode, edit mode, something is buggy about that the whole symmetry thing. So I'll just turn it off and move this. I was just gonna do a little editing, leave the symmetry off, and I'll get on this. And I'm going to move it over anyway to the right, and then I'm going to double click on that. Another way to do, select the loops is to hit Alt and then click. But something on my Windows is buggy on that. So just move it like that. And then what I wanted to do is so we'll just click this. I wanted to make the eyes bigger, a little bit bigger. I'll click on them and then make these a little bigger. Shorten them, and I'm on the scale tool. And then we can just extrude them. Let's see. Make them a little bit wider, I think, like that. And now, maybe pull them back a little bit. And now I'll hit E to extrude. Oops. E. I think I hit R and rotated. E, and now they're extruding. So you can just go extrude faces at the top menu, or you can click E. So now they're extruded, and I'm going to scale them smaller, like so. Now they went in a little too far, so I'll move them out. There we go. And I'm going to size them a bit. So back on the scale tool. There we go. That looks pretty cool. And then I'm just going to extrude the mouth. So one of the things that I didn't have turned on because I've not been editing it a whole ton is this proportional editing, which works. Whoops. What did I do? Whoopee. And then do, okay. So the proportional editing, which is so cool. If you don't run it in there, it's working and the symmetry is working there. And so you can play with this and start modeling out your head. And I'm just at 1. You can turn it up or down, depending on how far you want the proportional editing to affect to move along the edges of the faces and the vertex. So that looks kind of cool. It gives them a little wait. And I like it. Oh, I'm going to extrude the mouth. That's what I'm going to do. I think I'll... And you can play with this with your character. Make whatever your heart desires. Okay, so I'm going to get back on my select circle and I'm going to make a mouth. So I chose these 2 faces. And like I said, we can turn the proportional editing on or off. And I'm just going to leave it on for that. And then, yeah, I'm going to leave it on. I like it. Oops. And then I'm going to make this a little bigger. Maybe I'll turn it off. Or maybe smaller. Yeah, I'll make it smaller. And now I'm going to E and I'm going to extrude it. Let's see what's going to happen with extruding with the proportional editor on. E, where are you? Turkey. Turn the proportional editor off. Now, E. Am I hitting the right key? Okay, there we go. And I've extruded it, and now I'm going to get on the scale tool and make it smaller. So there we go. All right, and then I think what I'm going to do is switch over here to the edge tool. I'm going to click right here above the mouth and size that a little bit. Maybe I'll do that. That looks cool. And yeah, I like it. Oh, look at the front view. Yeah. Just click on the Y. I'm in the back. Ah! Oh my gosh, that's hysterical. I have been editing in the back. This is what happens when you're up late at night. Okay, what we can do is we can just turn his head around, put it back in the front. And that's going to happen. You know, you're going to be in here with your objects, fiddling it out all around. So he's faced to the back, which is fine. So we're going to go back in object mode, edit, tab, whatever. And now we're going to turn him around and select him. And all we have to do is hit the S on the keyboard, which is, or actually R. R for rotate. And we want to rotate on the Z. So we hit, all right. Is that what we're going to do? R and we hit Z. There we go, yeah. And so we can hit, I think, Control R to rotate, to get on the rotate tool, or just click it. And then we can hit R, Z, and what? Add 180 or something. 180 degrees. There we go. And then hit Enter. And now his back of his head is in the back, or the ground. All right. Now he's in front. We got his eyes. Okay, that's all I really wanted to do. Something simple like that. And now in the next tutorial, in the next class, I'm going to lay out his polygons. Woohoo! This is where my favorite part is sometimes I just end up spending gazillions of hours modeling and not being able to decide. But I want to get to painting because that's what I do best, painting. And so I'm going to bring my brain along to the paint. And we're going to go from object mode to texture paint. Yay! And aren't you excited? All right, leave me a comment. Please subscribe. And we'll see you in the next tutorial.